What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thank you for coming back. We really appreciate you. So today, we're gonna be going over the 3D scanner that I sort of showed you in the last video. We're gonna do an actual, maybe not a review video, but at least use it, get to know it, and see how well it's gonna work for our business, for what we do. In case you didn't see that last video, this is the 3D scanner that we bought. It's the Shining 3D by Einstar. And this thing's supposed to be one of the best 3D scanners for the money. It comes in under $1,000. I bought it during a Black Friday sale that they were having for $850. In the market that it's in, it's supposed to be the best for stuff like what we do. So I'm super excited about that to see how it's gonna work. And like I mentioned in the last video, we're gonna be testing it out on the square body on Dirty Girl. I believe in the last video we took off the bed off of this thing. That's the last thing we showed you. So since then we took off basically the entire suspension and rear axle of this thing, and it's basically ready to start mucking up the new 10.5 Sterling underneath this thing and those big massive Devers. And like I had mentioned in the last video, we're not going to be using the hangers that were on here. We're going to make our own hangers. I know that the new front hangers are going to land somewhere around this vicinity. So that's why I want to go ahead and 3D scan this section of the frame. And I was messing with this thing last night, and it does great at picking up like the hanger and stuff like that, or like these brackets. But it doesn't do too well in flat areas, especially if they are black. Kind of like that area right there. And I knew that was going to be the case. I did a lot of research on 3D scanners, on the Einstar, to try and make sure that I get the best thing possible that I can for, that I can still afford. Because these things can get upwards of like $20,000 pretty easily. So getting something, under $1,000 that still worked for us, that it wasn't going to be a waste of money, was pretty important to me. So in the research that I did, they mentioned that, flat areas that were black or that they were shiny or transparent were going to be hard for pretty much any 3D scanner, especially like I mentioned, in the budget that I had to scan. So one of the solutions that people have is, one, buying 3D scanning spray. That stuff is ridiculously expensive. A 16-ounce can is like $30. So I was like, no, we're not gonna be doing that. The next budget thing that we ended up doing was baby powder and rubbing alcohol. That's what you see on the frame right here. And we mixed it at about a third rubbing alcohol and then 2/3 a third baby powder and 2/3 rubbing alcohol. I think we could get away with a little more rubbing alcohol. I think I'm actually going to add a little bit more because this took forever to dry. But as you can see now, it is white, which the scanner should be able to pick up. And then we do have a few of these little 3D scanning dots on here to hopefully help it out as well. So we're going to be, giving it a shot. Again, I'm really excited about this thing. It should really be able to help us with the workflow of designing parts. This thing does require a pretty hefty computer, so we did get a pretty decent computers running a RTX 4080 graphics card, which should help it process everything a little bit better. So we'll see. One of the things why I picked this scanner was for this software. It's supposed to be one of the better softwares that come with the 3D scanner. So again, like I said, well, let me show you. I have been, messing with this thing over the last, actually last night I was messing with it, and I got, a couple decent, scans, I would say. But like I said, I was only able to scan like these areas that had a lot of texture. As soon as we got to that flat spot, which would be right over here, it just completely stopped scanning on me. Like on this one, I was able to get it a little bit further, but still not like far enough that I could stitch both scans together. What we're gonna do right now is try to rescan this whole thing. And one, I'm gonna see with that spray if I can go ahead and just scan it all the way through to where like that fast, what's the fast, right? To where that fuel pump is at over here. We're gonna go ahead and start a a new scan. So you go over here and start a new project. Again, this is literally like the second time I have ever used this, so I really don't know what the heck I'm doing. But like I said, it's pretty easy. So we're doing an object. You can do like a portrait, a person, or an object. Medium and large object, yes, for sure. I think we're doing features, and we're leaving everything else that says. We're gonna hit apply. We're gonna turn this on. I also got myself this cart for the computer, and it really helps. We're gonna hit play in the back, and that should start the preview window. And then if we hit play again, it should start the actual scan. So let's see. There we go. So that's picking it up now. And then, as you might be able to see, the scan is a couple different colors. That green basically tells it that that area's already been scanned well enough to move on. I really don't need to pick up this hanger that well. We're more worried about getting the frame. Again, it is struggling to scan this area, but it is a little bit easier now that we have the spray. I'm gonna actually put you guys. There's not a good spot to put you. Hopefully, this is a good view. If not, I'm sorry, but I really gotta try and get this scan. I can already tell that spray is definitely helping out. Okay, so I just finished scanning this area right here of the frame, the rear hanger where the shackle goes. And don't ask me why, but I mean, I guess I know why, but it picked it up so much better. Like, that took me maybe 5 minutes to get it scanned, and it was a much easier, much better scan. And basically, I think the reason why it was so much easier is because this is more of a complex shape with a lot more stuff going on over here. And it was just way easier for it to keep track of everything going all the way around it. Getting the scan of this was definitely harder, but we were able to get it scanned. And what I would love to be able to do is basically scan this area right here. So I think we're gonna give that a try. It's gonna be fun cleaning all this up. It should come off pretty easily with the rinse. But we're gonna mix this up a little bit and then just spray it all over the frame right here. I'll let you get the underside too, because that's something that we definitely want to have scanned. And it makes a mess everywhere, by the way. Like, I don't know if you can see the floor, like, stuff is everywhere, but it is just baby powder, so it should come off pretty easily, like I said. And then if you don't want to wait for the stuff to dry, get yourself a leaf blower and then just have at it. And there we go. We have a completely white frame that should hopefully be easier for this thing to track it. So now, because I don't want to lose this scan, like I don't want it to lose tracking or whatever and mess it up, we're gonna go ahead and save this as is right now. So we're gonna go ahead and go to this little square, which is the generate point cloud. We're gonna hit that, create the point cloud. I don't know why this thing slowed down, like it was being way faster than this. And there we go. We're not gonna use it looking like this on the computer. It'll be more of something like that, but we'll get to that point later. So now that we have it right there, we're gonna create a new project again and hopefully be able to scan the top of the frame and be able to connect this whole frame rail together. I like having that on. That basically gives you that indicator of if it's some good scan data or not. Like that. See how it goes from red to green? That's why we toggle that on. There we go. That's a pretty good view. So like I said, this is gonna be a harder scan because this thing likes features, I guess, to be able to go off of. So, and there's basically nothing for it to scan over here. I don't want to jinx it, but it's doing decently well. Crap. And we lost it. There we go. We got it. And we lost it. I'm trying to go slow and steady. I don't know if that does anything for it. So we got the whole top basically scanned pretty well. So I'm gonna see if I can get the bottom of the frame now. You can see it like scanning into the computer. It's pretty cool. Again, I've talked about this before, but I'm a huge fan of just buying stuff that makes your life easier. And that is so cool. I don't know why it's working so much better here than it was on the front part of the frame. That is nuts. Like, see, this is the type of results that I was hoping to get from this thing. And then we started scanning the front of the frame first, and it was freaking out on us. But like, this is scanning wonderfully. Like, this is beautiful. So I went ahead and turned off the lights just to see what that's gonna do for us. See if it helps us or if it makes it worse. So I think this is about as good as we'll be able to get this thing without losing more stuff. But just like, look at it. It's freaking awesome. We basically were able to get it from this hanger to that hanger in one scan. That just blows my mind. So I'm gonna go back and try and get this area, and then we'll basically call it good on this. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you that I kind of been learning is how to align your scans. And as you can see, we've got pretty much the same scan right here, but a little bit misaligned. And I grabbed multiple scans to try and grab multiple angles. Again, this is probably not the right way to do it, but you know, I'm still learning and messing with this thing. So you go over here to the little puzzle piece, you click on that, and then you click on the projects that you want to align. So I want to align project 2 to project 1, and then you can do kind of just like an auto align, which is this first box right there, and you can click apply. And most of the time I've found that it does it pretty well. Like, I think they got it pretty much spot on. Okay guys, so the last step I want to show you is, I guess, how to actually make a mesh file out of this that you can import into something like Fusion 360. And again, this is literally the first time I've ever done this, so this should show you how easy it actually is to do this. And again, I'm super happy with this. Like, we were able to scan basically the entire half section of that frame on Dirty Girl, and it came out like, that's a pretty decent scan. I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. But anyways, and again, we didn't scan this in one go. The cool thing is that we scanned it part by part, and the software was able to stitch the whole thing together all on its own. And like I said, it left us with a very good workable model. But anyway, so once you have something like this that you're happy with, what you want to do is go to mesh model. You'll click on that, and then this is still like what I'm trying to learn what the best settings are for this thing. Now, this was a pretty big file, and the first few times that I tried meshing it, or you know, whatever the term is, the computer wasn't liking it. Apparently it was running out of memory, and like, this is a pretty decent computer. So what I ended up doing is I went to this basically max triangles area. The triangles is kind of really hard to see in this one, but it's basically what this whole mesh is made out of, triangles. So the less you have here, the less data there will be for the computer to process. So I turned this one down from 2 million to 500,000 triangles, and that did the trick. And then these are kind of like the settings that I did. So we did it on watertight because we don't want it to fill in all these holes, which we need. We did no filters, pretty much left this pretty simple. And then we hit apply, and that's gonna basically process process the scan and turn it into a mesh. So I'll come right back once this is done processing. Which, I mean, like I said, it's pretty fast. I'm pretty happy with this computer when it comes to that. Okay, so we went ahead and processed it, and now it's a mesh. I believe, again, super new to this. This is the first time I've done this. And it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, you can go back and again edit this things, and it's something that I'm definitely gonna keep playing with, to see what this computer can handle. But if you're happy with it, you just hit confirm, and it takes you to this different menu, which has a lot more settings that, quite honestly, I haven't even begun to play with and try to figure out. But for the most part, like I said, I'm happy with how everything's looking. Like, I'll be more than able to make the brackets that I need to make from this scan. I might come back later and rescan these sections without the hangers if I need to, if I feel like I need to. But again, right now I'm pretty happy with this. So the next part is basically just saving it as I save it as an STL. That's how I import it to Fusion 360. So you're gonna go to the little floppy disk, for those of us that are old enough to remember what that is. You're gonna click on that, and like again, I said I like to save stuff in STL. So we do STL, you do the name for it, and you save, and you're good to go. Now you can go to your favorite design software. Mine happens to be Fusion 360. And then we're gonna go to insert mesh. We're gonna find our file, and then there we go. It's imported into Fusion 360, and it should be to scale too, which is a huge, very important part of this this process. But yeah, very, very happy with this thing. It's like I said, it's gonna make designing parts. It's just a completely different game. But yeah, guys, hopefully you liked that video. I know it's a little bit different, but we'll be going back to our regular scheduled programming here pretty soon. Again, I got to work on Dirty Girl. We got to make the hangers and install the rear axle. So that should most likely be the next video. We are also going to scan the dually because we're looking at making some new radius arm brackets that will incorporate a mount for a traction bar for the rear axle. So definitely excited about that one too. So that will either be in the same video as the one I'm working on Dirty Girl, or it'll be its own video. I also want to get going on that pretty quickly because it's a product that a lot of you guys have been asking for, and it's something that honestly I'm interested in as well. So that, like I said, should be coming up in the next video or two. But yeah, again, leave a thumbs up. Leave any questions that you might have about the Shining 3D. I'll do my best to answer them. But again, this is literally the first time that I've used it, so I don't know how much help I'll be. But yeah, again, leave a like, any comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.